Test. All right, good evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Brad Winter from Region Weather Live, your only source for the areas of the Dakotas and Minnesota where you can get online streaming and it's just for you. I'm going to try something a little different as my setup. So hopefully I don't get too screwed up tonight as we go over this. Just real quick, as usual, go ahead and like and submit and all that fun stuff. Like and subscribe and all that fun stuff down below. That really helps me out. Also, don't be afraid to share it. And let's get that word out. All right, here are the temperatures that were occurring today around 3:30 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. Yeah. Daylight savings? Yeah, daylight savings time. Yep, we'll see what happens with that with the Congress. I know I've seen quite a few people push back on that already, so interesting. I don't know. Be curious to hear what your thoughts are on that. But anyhow, I digress. We're here to talk about the weather for now. As you can see, daytime temperatures, we had 50s all the way out into parts of northern Minnesota out here. So wasn't too bad of a day all in all. But generally, within most of our region, we had, we were sitting in that, I'll zoom out a little bit, 57 down here in Hettinger around 3:30, 54 in Bismarck, 45 way up here north of Williston. Still have to figure out those stations. And then 34 Rugby, 36 in Devil's Lake, 52 in Fargo. So these weren't exact daytime highs. I think some of these temperatures got a little warmer, especially down here in the southwest. But for those of you out in the east, especially kind of in, in through here, these guys here, that definitely was their daytime high. They saw some nice warm temperatures. But I know here in Grand Forks, we had a high of 47. So plenty of snow melt that happened today, and that was great. Currently, let's see, here's our current temperatures. Still in the 40s further out in the east, but generally we're looking at mid-30s across northwestern Minnesota and through much of North Dakota, actually. You still got a 41 just west of that's Sidney, Montana, and then 28 out here in New Salem. That's a little low, but interesting enough. That's apparently what they're reporting. Otherwise, not a whole lot else going on. We have some wind gusts out there. There was a little bit breezier from the west today, and once again, it really drove some of that snow away for those of us who have been dealing with it all winter here. But still some wind gusts in the 15 to 25 mile per hour range, but all in all, not a bad start to the night. All right, let's take a look at that forecast, and we're going to get right to it, and we're going to make this fairly quick. Here's what the expected lows are overnight. We're looking at the mid-20s up in the far northern areas of North Dakota, Minnesota, and then we're probably looking right around 30 degrees for those of us down in the southwest. Daytime highs tomorrow, very similar to today, mid-30s in the far north, maybe a little bit cooler today for some of us, as there is a bit of a front that goes through and a bit of a little shortwave that moves through, and I'll show you that in just a bit. But then we also have low to mid 50s down in the southwestern part of North Dakota. For most of the day, really not much shows up for tomorrow. I mean, as far as the winds and precip go on the actual models. However, If you take a look at the low-level moisture, this is something we like to look at from time to time. There's plenty of low-level moisture in the northern parts of Minnesota, and we do have this little trough that's moving through this rotation in the atmosphere that causes lift, and that's designated here. That's the little swirly things that cause lift in the atmosphere and causes precipitation to occur. So this is kind of sliding to the east-southeast, and that along with these low-level moistures, that could have the potential of creating some drizzle or even freezing drizzle if the temperatures remain cold enough throughout the early morning hours. Let's see here. If I can adjust some of this. Maybe. Nope, I can't. But anyway. Like I said, trying new things here, so not everything's working, but a lot of low-level moisture sitting in there, and so that's going to be creating some the possibility of drizzle and freezing drizzle in the early morning hours. So I'll have to keep an eye on that for tomorrow morning for those of us in the northern parts of Minnesota. All right. As we move along Friday morning, we're still looking at lows in the 20s, generally across the entire region. Highs on Friday, a little bit warmer, mid 30s to the far north still, maybe some upper 30s, 55 to 60 down in the southwest. This is Saturday morning. These are the lows, once again, generally in the 20s in the east, a little bit warmer for lows in the west, right around freezing. And then highs for Saturday, mid 30s, one more time, 60 down in the southwest. And then cold temperatures once more time for Sunday morning. But especially across the north, and it looks like the southeast is actually looking fairly decent for Sunday morning, as we're looking at lows in the mid 30s. So we're actually starting off the day on Sunday not too bad at all. And then daytime highs, we're looking at 40s across much of the area, maybe 50 down in the south central part of the North Dakota, but really looking at a pretty nice weekend as we move along. Monday, or the same 30s and 40s. Tuesday, 30s and 40s once again. We will have to keep an eye on this system that will be ejecting out of the southwest by Monday, Sunday into Monday. Here it is. And you can see we're still plenty warm out in through here. Okay. Yep. Boy, just some days, man, some days, just things just don't work quite the way you want. Anyway, you can still see we're sitting under that ridge, that dome of just drier, warmer air, still Sunday night, even into Monday. And we've got this low that's sitting out here that's diving into the Rockies, that's going to be ejecting out, creating plenty of weather for enthusiasts, especially in eastern parts of Montana on Monday, then kind of in the Louisiana, along the Gulf Coast states on Tuesday. They'll be looking at some pretty interesting weather there as this system ejects out. But we're still sitting firmly under that ridge. And then as we get into Monday, the models sort of have a bit of a problem figuring out what it wants to do. And this is one of the things I like to show from time to time. Now, this is Monday morning at 7 a.m. And just here's one model showing some precip, our western part of North Dakota. This one's a little drier, but still showing a little bit of rain, maybe some sleet out in the west. This one about the same, maybe some precip in the west. And then we've got the American model, which is actually much cooler than the other two. Even though it's showing some rain out here, when I take a look at these other two, and I've talked about these red lines before, these dashed lines, and when you start to get into red, that's much warmer temperatures. And you can see how this model compared to this model, compared to this one, how much warmer this one is compared to the other two. So, especially in the eastern parts of North Dakota, western Minnesota. So, just a little bit of differences there. As we get into Monday evening, by this time, this model's showing some rain in the east. The ECMWF also showing a little bit of rain, also a little bit warmer. Here's the Canadian model, a little bit cooler, showing some rain, maybe some snow as well. And the American model, a little bit cooler yet, showing all snow. So now the Weather Service, as you'll recall, still has highs on Tuesday in the 30s and 40s, as well as Monday, 30s and 40s. So it's interesting to show just the possibility of how this maybe could change their forecast as these models resolve itself. Once again, this is a system that's not even on shore yet. So this has got some time where it needs to get onshore and resolve itself. It's going to take a little bit. We're looking far out there. We're looking into days 6 or so. So that's getting out there for these models. So temperature-wise, that could change because these models are really having a hard time deciding what exactly they want to do. By Tuesday evening, again, like to show this upper level pattern and just, where are these ridging and this colder trough set up, the warmer ridging out here. Again, this is the American model now. This is for Tuesday evening. You can see this one has a little bit cooler, and then the Canadian has much colder. Big old system kind of runs through here. And then the ECMWF is a little warmer, has this big ridge that starts to develop out in the west, keeps the colder air along with that low further south. And then this one is just warm, just diverts from the whole rest of them. Once we get out another day, again, just some differences, quite a bit of difference from model to model. And then late Thursday, again, just kind of all over the place. I guess these two sort of agree by this time that the warmer air would move back in. So just keep in mind, Monday, Tuesday, those temperatures could adjust. We're going to have to keep an eye on it right now. It looks like, at least Weather Service-wise, they're thinking that's going to stay in the 30s to 40. And I think that's very possible with the amount of warm air coming up with this system. It could be a very warm, moist system, especially to start. But maybe some of those temperatures in the western part of the state might adjust because they're going to wind up being on the back side of this system. So that could start bringing in some of those northerly winds as we back up here. Yeah, right there, we can kind of see here by this point on Monday morning even, they're starting to be on that backside. So that's already starting to pull in some cooler air for those in the west. So now we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Right now, it doesn't look like the Weather Service is completely bought into that. They're keeping it fairly mild. But just something to keep an eye on as we go out into the future. I do think we'll probably cool down some by midweek. I think some of these models are agreeing enough that we'll have a little bit of a cool down, not too much. I mean, we're getting into late March, so it's not like we're going to be seeing much for single digits, especially during the daytime. I mean, when I say cool down, maybe the highs in the 20s possibly in some areas, but then I think after that it looks like they're starting to show the ridging and the warmer air moving back in. So we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on. The models have been varying greatly, and once they get out that far. So, but for sure, we're going to be, sitting in some pretty comfortable temperatures over the weekend. So we're looking at a pretty good weekend overall. So that's really all I've got for you this evening. God, stumbled through some of that just because, like I said, I've been trying something new. Been trying to figure out how I can look at the camera more and do some things more forward, but then that kind of limits my screen size. So try to adjust some of that before, but that's how it goes. Sometimes you got to adjust on the fly, especially when you have a meeting before you have to do this. So, all right, I do appreciate everybody hanging in there and subscribing and liking and viewing and sharing my page. That's awesome. Keep doing it. Keeps helping me out. Keep go ahead and talk to me. Send some chats down below, and tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Maybe don't tell me what you don't like in an email. How about that? Or in a text. Maybe don't write it on my page. But anyway, even sometimes bad news is, as long as I get something, right? What is it? It's still publicity, right? Even if it's bad news. But all right. So the only thing to keep in mind, those in the north in the morning hours, just watch out for the possibility of some drizzle or some freezing drizzle. These temperatures drop down cold enough. As you can see, Rozo's at 32 already. So just be mindful of that overnight tonight. Hopefully that doesn't quite pan out very well, but that is definitely something I would keep an eye on. I think, boy, especially with that little shortwave coming through in the early morning hours, that could be just enough to pop some light showers or some drizzle up there. So, and if the temperatures haven't risen fast enough, probably see some slippery road conditions up there. So just be mindful of that. All right, good night, everybody. Take care. Thank you.